Syrian refugees are going to European countries in order to escape the terrible conditions of the country that they're from. Right now, it is torn apart by war. The rebels are fighting Assad. ISIS is taking over. And of course, the situation in Syria is violent and dangerous. So as a result, CNN International wanted its audience to understand what exactly the Syrian refugees are going through. And as a result, they had one refugee by the name of Milad talk about his situation and why he's seeking work in Europe. Now, unfortunately, he was met with some bigotry and some hatred, and I want to give you guys some examples of that. Now, this is on Facebook, and Tony Lewis is the person who asked this question. Milad, you've said in the article that you don't want to use your real name because of reprisals from the family you left behind in Syria. What kind of man leaves his family in a war zone to save himself first? Now, that's a pretty ridiculous question, if you ask me, right? It's not like he wanted to leave his family in a war zone and go live this great life. He's probably trying to find a way out for them as well. But let me allow him to answer the question himself. He says, it was not an easy decision for them to leave their home and work. I am young, I don't have a house, I have time to look for another job and another place to live. But my father, for example, who is 60-odd years old, it's not an easy decision for him to leave everything. He left after 2 years, not at the same time as me, after he didn't find that anything had changed and saw that everything was going badly. So I like that he is answering these questions in a very clear, understanding way, because I feel like if I were in his situation and I was dealing with the violence in my own country and I was forced to leave, I would not be as nice.
I would not either.
Right? So here's another one, another question. Someone said, Milad is one of the 100 Syrians who are trying to find a job. Others will live on benefits. So there's this notion that Syrian refugees are leaving their country, they're leaving everything they know behind because they're looking for a handout, which is absurd. And here's how he answered the question. A lot of Syrians prefer to work and get money from their work. They don't prefer to live on benefits. If you read about Syrians and Syria, people work too much. Syria exported a lot of products to other countries, and not just Syria. A lot of people from a lot of countries in the UK live on benefits. It's not just Syrians. And he goes on. You guys can go ahead and, read that for yourselves. But I think that this speaks to some of the bigotry that we're not only experiencing here in the United States, but worldwide. There's a lack of empathy and understanding toward these refugees. Many of them are peaceful people who are just looking for a better life for themselves and their families. Haas, what do you think about this story? Make your point.
Okay. First of all, I think literally the worst thing you can do ever in any given situation is subject yourself to internet trolls. And this guy's been through so much shit in the CNN. I mean, I like that they want to offer his perspective on the matter, but opening him up to internet trolls like we experienced on the daily is the worst thing that you can do to someone who's been through such a traumatic experience, because they'll ask insensitive questions like that. And the second point I wanted to make about what he said about Germany, and this is my speculation, but Germans always are looking for able-bodied men and women because they're such an industrious nation. And there is a reason behind, there's a reason behind why they're allowing so many Syrians to come to Germany, and they're kind of leading that effort in Europe, and everyone's like, look at Germany, they're doing this. And he's right. Germans have studied the Syrians. They understand that they're willing to work, and everyone's willing to work. I mean, it's just, there's a reason for that, but I feel like the only reason for why you wouldn't accept these people into your country, and Turkey is a huge country that accepts a lot of Syrians as well, is just pure racism.
Right. I mean, if anything, bigotry, because there's been a lot of fear-mongering about Muslims in the media, and, you see it worldwide, and it's a really sad situation. Drew, make your point.
Same, Hasan, I kind of piggyback off the pure racism, bigotry. It's just ignorance of, not knowing the country, not knowing the person. They just see what they see on TV. They expect, everybody from that country is ISIS. They think that if people are coming in, they're, bombing and just terrorizing everything.
Well, they're brown. So they must be evil.
They must be evil. So it's kind of just a sad thing. And, more power to him to answer the questions. And he answered them more politely than I would, like he said.
Yeah.
And I would definitely fire off on the trolls, which I've done plenty of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, here's what I have to say about the trolls. I love that he's doing this, and I love what we do, because even though you expose yourself to trolls, there are people out there who want to learn about you, they want to listen, and they want to be informed. Right. And you got to focus on them as opposed to the haters. Right. So here's the personal question. What would you like to ask a refugee? Drew. Well,
I actually looked up the definition of refugee, and I was like, it depends on if it was a war refugee or, sometimes it could be natural disaster refugee. So, but my thing would just be I want to hear your story through your mouth, not through a reporter or anything. Just you and me sit down. I just want to hear your story. That's what I want to.
Yeah. So what about you, Has?
Don't get mad at me. Would you rather be Brad Pitt's brother, Doug Pitt, or the third Hemsworth brother?
Oh my God. That's what you would ask a refugee? The funny thing is, I just thought to myself, what's the likelihood of a refugee knowing who Doug Pitt is, right? And then I realized I did a story on Doug Pitt a few years ago, and I don't even really know who Doug Pitt is, other than it's
a good
Brad
guy.
Pitt's. Yeah.
Southern guy.
I didn't even know until you mentioned the number earlier today.
Just check it out. It's like really interesting. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, it's obviously a joke, but they would probably be like, either I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what I would want to ask a Syrian refugee is, share some stories of kindness that you've experienced. Because we cover so many stories of the brutality that they deal with, the bigotry that they deal with, that sometimes I really want to regain my faith in humanity. So tell me that there are good people out there that have tried to help you out. Make me realize that not everyone's an asshole. All right, so that's what I would ask. You're the worst. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing because of how stupid my question is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the audience.
But I mean, I feel like too, they also would enjoy. I feel like they would enjoy something. Maybe they wouldn't want to answer all these, like my question. They'd be like, I've answered this question 1,000 times.
Many times.
Can I ask? Can I? What's your favorite food?
Obviously,
what's your favorite color?
That's what
something
my
where
other question
a
is
normal
like, what do you think about
conversation.
hamburgers? Like, do you like?
Do you like
bacon? Is the best thing, but
Why
you're
do
Muslim.
Why do they call hamburgers hamburgers when they're made with beef usually? Like, that's what I want to know.
I don't know. That's it.
Right?
I don't think that's a question you would ask a Syrian refugee, though.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, tell us what you would like to ask a Syrian refugee, and also, what do you make of this story and some of the bigotry that Muslims and Syrians have had to deal with as of late? Comment in the section below. Tell us what you think, and we'll talk to you soon.